In this video, I will be talking about the standardized description of skinfold sites and procedures, which can help us determine our BMI. The sites I will be covering will be the abdominal area, the pectoral area, the subscapular area, the triceps area, the mid-axillary area, the suprailiac area, and the thigh area. In order to measure these areas, I will be using a device known as the skinfold caliper. Before measuring the skin folds on the client must relax his body and keep it this way throughout the entire measuring process. Whenever skin fold measures are taken, it is important for accuracy to find the correct location to take the skin fold pinch. Therefore, the right side of the client's body in anatomical terms should be measured for a more consistent measurement. For the abdominal area, a vertical fold is necessary at about 2 centimeters to the right side of the belly button. Also, the caliper should be placed directly on the skin surface, about 1 centimeter away from the thumb and finger. The pin should be maintained while reading the caliper and wait 1 to 2 seconds before reading the caliper. For the chest area, a diagonal fold should be made halfway between the axillary line and the nipple for men. But for women, it should be made 1/3 the distance between the axillary line and the nipple. Remember to place the caliper directly on the skin surface and maintain the pinch for about 1 to 2 seconds before reading the caliper. For the subscapular area, a diagonal fold at 45-degree angle should be made and at about 1 to 2 centimeters below the inferior angle of the scapula. If you cannot see the angle of the scapula, go ahead and grab the client's arm and bend it backwards until you see the scapular angle. Once the angle has been found, release the client's arm and let it relax again. At this point, you can now grab the caliper and pinch the client's skin to measure the surface of the pinch and hold it for about 2 seconds before the reading. For the triceps area, you will measure on the posterior midline of the upper arm, halfway between the acromion and olecranon process. You will be using a vertical fold while having the arm freely to the side of the body. Remember that the pin should be maintained while reading the caliper, and the caliper should be placed about 1 centimeter away from thumb and finger. For the mid-axillary, a vertical fold will be used at the level of the xiphoid process of the sternum. Remember that the pin should be maintained while reading the caliper, and the caliper should be about 1 centimeter away from the thumb and finger. The suprailiac will consist of a diagonal fold which goes in line with the anterior axillary line and is immediately superior to the iliac crest. Remember that the pin should be maintained while reading the caliper, and the caliper should be 1 centimeter away from thumb and finger. The thigh area will consist of a vertical fold on the anterior midline of the thigh, at midway between the proximal border of the patella and the inguinal hip. After all sides have been measured, a duplicate measurement should be performed at each side and then retest if duplicate measurements are not within 1 to 2 millimeters.